Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's episode. Baby, lock them doors and turn them lights down low. But I'ma need your consent before we go any further. It's kinda like further. Fuck the whole bit, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. We're getting weird on a Wednesday. Listen, sometimes you might think, Evan, do you prepare these songs that you just start improvising? Obviously, no. Because who had said further? It was going to be a great song. I planned on singing it for at least 15 minutes, at least. But that's all we get. That's all we get is 40 seconds in. I've already abandoned the first 15 minutes of this podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. We get weird on Wednesdays, and we don't know why, and we're getting wild. We don't know why. The world is wild. The world, it's such a weird time. We're on the brink of destruction of our society and everything we know and love. It's true. It's true. It's funny to say that as a joke, but it's true. We're all dead. We're all goners, all right? So start knocking things off that bucket list. I'm half kidding, ladies and gentlemen. Half only. The truth is, the world is getting weird. And I'm going to make this humorous. I'm going to try to keep this on a funny note, because we get weird on Wednesdays. Doesn't mean we don't get funny. There are people, I think it was Ohio, you have a chance to win $1 million if you get vaccinated. Oh, baby. You know what would make me feel weird? Is if I was about to go buy a car and the guy said, hey, listen, if you just buy this car, there's also, we'll give you a free house. And I'm like, wait. Why would I want the house? What's wrong with the fucking car? I mean, I'll take it, but why do you have to bribe me into taking something that's theoretically good for me? It's just, I feel like it's insulting to people's intelligence to be doing all this shit. I also think it's so fucking weird that politicians think everyone in the general public is dumb as shit. And for good reason. 90% of people, 95. No, listen. I'm being very unfair here. Most people are easily swayed emotionally by Instagram posts, where they see something that's happening, and before they even run it through the mill of, is this logical? What's the objective thing about this? They just get swooped up in the emotions. Gone forever. Pixie dust. They just don't exist anymore. They're just gone with the cause, becoming part of the mudslide with cancel culture, all the wokeness. And now, the vaccine mudslide. I feel like it has gotten so fucking weird with and I don't want to attack one political party, but it's gotten so weird that this whole idea of liberal ideology and stuff of my body, my choice is transformed completely into take the fucking vaccine or don't be part of our society. All this openness, all this weirdness, it's just like, keep that same energy. My body, my choice, it only applies. People like to just say this shit when it only works for them. Because in reality, the whole my body, my choice thing I've always been on board with it. Why the fuck do you think I moved to Texas? Liberty. And the freedom to live the life you desire. All right? And I think it's a very manipulative thing when people start throwing this, get the vaccine to help other people. Aren't the other people getting the vaccine? Isn't it their responsibility to take care of their health for them to take the vaccine? Isn't it their responsibility to make sure that, they're doing the things to protect themselves? I did that for an entire year. I shut everything down and was like, I'll chill out. Fuck it. I'll play video games for a while. Now, got a crippling video game addiction. It is what it is. Okay. But I'm not here to discuss my addiction to video games. All right. Unless you guys want to talk about that. It just feels so weird. And listen, this is what I don't like. This is what we talked about in the podcast a bit with Connor, is Tony Hinchcliffe, a comedian. They tried to cancel him. Whole smear campaign. Something gross happens when other comedians start dogpiling on another comedian because if they see opportunity, a weakness, when in reality, if they're an actual comedian, they know the context of what happened. And I don't want to go too far back into that because we already talked about it, but Tony Hinchcliffe followed a younger comedian, Peng Dang, I believe is his name, and he talked about, Asian hate and all this stuff and a little bit of virtue signaling, and to be the heel of it and to just give contrast, Tony Hinchcliffe went on stage and made inappropriate Chinese jokes. I'm sure he even regrets using the words he did. But the idea behind it, the context, there's a reason why everybody in the room laughed, is because we've all agreed what comedy is. Comedy is, not to steal a fucking horrible phrase, a safe space. Comedy is actually truly the last wild frontier where you can say anything you want if you can make it funny. Was what Tony said funny? Listen, when you try to improv something and you take chances, sometimes 80%, I don't know what more established comedians would think of this. A lot of stuff you say throughout a year, all the hours and hours and hours of stage time, never makes it to your final set. It never makes it to a special. It never makes it to your Rolodex of this is my, 15-minute set. This is something I'm going to do. A lot of stuff you'd go on there, you say it once or twice. The joke's not funny. You don't say it anymore. But it's through that process you find out what's funny and what's not. And before we completely lose the original point of this, it was the context of that situation and acknowledging this was stand-up. This was meant to be taken as a joke. This wasn't a rally where he was preaching his beliefs. And everybody wants to fucking pretend like that was the truth, that was how he really felt, that we were pretending we don't know the context. Everybody, you have to pretend to be able to turn it into racism, to be able to cancel him, to call it hate speech. You have to pretend that there's a real Santa Claus. We believe in the Easter Bunny because we have to play fucking pretend. Everybody got in a goddamn boat and went to Neverland. And that's what people are doing, pretending like coronavirus is the same as polio. We're pretending we don't have any data. Do you remember in the beginning of the pandemic, and this is something I've been talking about on stage, we thought everybody was dead. We thought, I remember when Idris Elba got it and Tom Hanks got COVID, they're talking about them. Oh my God, Idris Elba is non-symptomatic or asymptomatic. He has no symptoms. We don't know why. Some people die. Some people, it has zero effect. And I said it's like M. Night Shyamalan wrote this shit. That's how I felt in the beginning because nothing made goddamn sense. And I'm like, wait, COVID-19 defies anything we've ever known about science and medicine and viruses and disease and our immune systems. Is it some kind of allergic reaction where your body is tricked into triggering antibodies and you have a crazy immune response? Is this an alien invasion? It makes sense. Does COVID only like certain kind of shoes? And then more data starts coming out. We find out, oh, okay. Well, they weren't telling us all these different pre-existing conditions that were linked to all these people that did die. Maybe it's because Idris Elba is jacked as fuck. Maybe it's because Tom Hanks is relatively healthy. And then you start finding out the morbidity rate, 2.5 pre-existing conditions. 2.5. I think that was the amount of pre-existing conditions was on average. That means someone's walking around with half an asthma. Those are just the stats. But everybody wants to pretend. Everybody wants to get in a goddamn boat and go to Neverland again. They want to sprinkle. They want to grab fucking Tinkerbell, and fucking slap themselves in the face with her and float away to Neverland. It's what everybody wants to do because people want to pretend like we're back in fucking March 2020 still. That all this shit is just still the same. You remember when everybody was talking about the second wave, Spanish flu? Listen, myself included. I'm not one of these people who's like, I was never scared. Oh, really? Okay, just you? We all had one night when we were like, let me just Google what the fuck a pangolin is. All right, I need to see what the fuck this immune system is up against. Facts, okay? But, everybody thought Spanish flu. The Spanish flu was killing kids. Polio was killing kids. All these big diseases that, smallpox, all these things that we have vaccines for that are deadly to healthy immune systems, to people, and especially kids. And I'm not saying I'm not an anti-vax kind of person. That's like, I don't want you to get that from this. I'm pretty reasonable when it comes to healthcare. I care a lot about my health. I think I like going to the gym. Think I like just sitting there in the sauna for 30, 40 minutes. Subtle flex. Yeah, I'm in the sauna for 30, 40 minutes, baby. Think I like turning away pizza. If I could, I'd invest all my money into a human-sized calzone. Okay? And I'd want it delivered piping hot. All right? And then I'm going to take a goddamn machete. I'm going to slice one side of it, slide myself in there, cancel all my plans for the evening, and just eat my way out of a giant calzone. Don't even get me started on the Krispy Kreme breakfast again. Don't even get me started. I'd do some weird things to a Krispy Kreme 12-pack, a baker's dozen. All right? Just a fucking Krispy Kreme glazed donut hula hoop. And just get it all the way up top of my body, get it around my neck, and then I start eating it, spinning it. Get some on my dick, starts twirling those around. Probably get about 4 on them. No flex. Stupid, Evan. So stupid. But really, I'm not an anti-vaccination guy. Listen, if anybody wants to get a vaccination, and if they're in a situation where they're around people who are at risk, if themselves they're at risk, 100% understand that. 100% understand that. But the only thing that gets weird to me is when people start pushing you to get the vaccination, when they start virtue signaling and just something because, listen, I've had people guilt me in my life. I have a lot of empathy. And it may not seem like it that a lot, Sometimes I may come off cold, but it's truly because I've learned how to build boundaries against people because I do care that much. Listen, I walk outside that door right now and there's a goddamn baby bird on the brink of death. You think your boy's gonna throw it in the trash? Think I'm gonna let Beowulf eat it? Nah. Guess what? I'm a parent now. All right, and I'm nursing that baby bird back to health. And that's just my fucking stepson from now on, okay? Fuck it, that's my stepson. Taking family portraits with it. Gonna teach it how to fly and shit. I'm gonna feed it out of my mouth. I'm gonna put seed in my mouth, regurgitate it, and feed that goddamn baby bird. Point proven, okay? But the reality is, when you are an empathic person Listen, welcome to the Mike Tyson podcast, and I have a lot of empathy. Mike Tyson likes pigeons too. Shout out. Listen, some people think the pigeon shit's not real. I want you to take a look at this. I have a calendar of birds. I saved this one, okay, because it has a pigeon on it. April 27th. I've been saving this one because it's got a goddamn wood pigeon on it, and I just like the way it looked. Okay, for those just listening, I have a bird calendar. Every day is a new bird. When I get a pigeon, a cool one, I save it. I just like to look at it. Sometimes, in the middle of the day, I need to relax a bit. Say, where's my goddamn pigeon pictures? Break them out. Look at some pigeons. Calms me. Listen, go watch a YouTube video about Mike Tyson talking about his pigeons. I get it, Mike. I get it. Back to the point I was making about vaccines. I have a lot of empathy for people. I bailed on the other word of empathetic. Okay? A little too hard for your boy. All right? I have a lot of empathy for people. And because of that, it can be taken advantage of. And here's the beautiful thing about life. Most people that are talking about vaccines, I would say 95% of them, they're doing it because they also have empathy. They're good people. They just want people to be okay. A lot of the virtue signaling, people who respond to it, who post things, it's just because they're trying to do the good thing. That only goes so far, because I think it's at a certain point you're responsible to not get duped by these fucks. But when people start imposing on people's liberty and their rights to choose how they want to live their life, it gets weird. I think, I was talking to a friend, remain nameless, and he's one of the bigger bosses at his job, and he was pressured by the company to get the vaccine. And they said, well, we need all, the higher ups to be a leader and lead by example and get the vaccine. And he's like, no, I already got it. I was fine. I was sick for a week and I was fine. A lot of people get sick from the vaccine, and, they try to be like, well, what about the other people around you? Well, aren't they supposed to be getting the vaccine? Wouldn't that protect them from me? And he already has it. He has the antibodies. I just think the whole way that we're going around about this is very odd. And the whole push, it all comes down to like the media. They're trying to separate vaccinated from unvaccinated. Listen, this is just stuff that I think about, and it's just so odd because you can like see the division in the way articles are written, and you can see the news cycle of what is important and what is getting clicks, and they move on that. They don't give two shits about informing you. These articles, they don't give two shit about informing you. That's what journalism is supposed to be, is about informing the public. As soon as it became profitable and they see that we like car crashes, they switched the whole game. Journalism went out the window, and we just need someone to click on the article. They don't need to like it. They just need to click it. So they write these clickbait titles. The unvaccinated or the vaccinated are worried about socializing with the unvaccinated. Now we're creating gangs. Now it's about that gang life. The last thing I'll say about it, listen. I'm someone who, at a younger age, really thought about a career in healthcare. Because I truly do care. I have this idea that people who are having fulfillment and are healthy are happier people. We want happier people. We want people that are very good at what they do. People who are pursuing their passions, they have the energy, they have the focus, they have the desire, they're inspired, they have goals. We want a whole society of that. And that can come at the cost of me not succeeding as much because other people are succeeding and they're pushing, and that's great. Listen, I welcome all competition. I love being challenged. I love with stand-up when I see someone go on and do amazing, and I'm like, and I get nervous because I'm like, this is great. This is what it's all about. You never want to be the best You can be competitive. And what I mean, I don't want to lose too much in a metaphor. Sometimes I just say metaphors and I don't just say the goddamn point. The point is I think as a society, if people were healthy, they were responsible for their health, they did everything they could, we would be better as a whole. The healthcare system is fucked up because so much is just with pills. We create problems and all these disorders just to market them. I think there's only 2 countries in the world that are allowed to market medication. It should be illegal because they can create problems. It's all business. I sound like in 2020 turned me into a goddamn conspiracy theorist. But it really is all business. It really is all about, let's create a disorder. Who's home during the day? Housewives. Let's say, are you feeling tired? Young moms. Are you feeling fatigued? We'll talk to your daughter about your daughter. Maybe don't talk to your daughter about your fucking mental health problems. Talk to your doctor about Aladera. It's going to cause crazy diarrhea, but it could help. That should be illegal. It's like the placebo effect. Everybody's just like, fuck, I am tired. So maybe I do need to talk to them. But it's all fucked up because it's not trying to get people better. And I think one of the biggest things with everything with coronavirus is it blew my mind that no one ever was talking about going to the gym. No one was ever talking about eating healthy, about boosting your immune system because it was like fat shaming or fit shaming. And there's this weird thing going on called fat activism, where fat people are going around and now giving speeches about the importance of fat people in our society. What? Huh? Listen, big is beautiful, and I think you gotta love yourself no matter what. But we need to be healthy. We need to be healthy. Like, obesity is a real thing that it hurts people. And it's like, whenever I see someone who's overweight at the gym, I've never been a dick. I've always only been motivating. I've only tried to show people who need to change their lives. Only helping. Only being like, yo, you can do this and this and this. Here's a wealth of knowledge. Everything I've ever done at your disposal. Because you should always try to help someone who's trying to change their life for the better. But when we have a society that's not even focused on that at all, and they just want, here's pills, here's a vaccine, here's this, that's it. Just focus on that. It's such a lazy answer. It's the same shit where these companies during the pandemic, they just do it for the social brownie points. When, something happens that's race related, and they're just like, release a whole thing about supporting black voices and supporting black artists and black business and all this stuff, which is great. Should have been doing that. But that's all they do is put a label about it. Let's cancel Aunt Jemima. It's like there's a real problem and there's a boat sinking and there's a hole in the bottom, and they're like, you know what this needs? A fucking paint job. Let's paint this boat. Put a new flag on it. Well, it's like, okay, you guys didn't do shit about actually contributing to helping anything. You just wanted to say it just so you could keep it moving with your business. Great marketing. It's just deceitful. Hey, remember when I said this was going to be a funny podcast? Tight. Sometimes you just got to get real with it. All right? I'll never apologize for that. It's just how I feel. Yeah, I think it's just because there's been an over... it's been intoxicating, the amount of shit that gets sent to me or articles that you see about the pressure, the guilt, and people not realizing it'll get weird if there is vaccine passports and these businesses, there's no way they're going to be able to enforce people not wearing a mask in their stores. And that if you're fully vaccinated, you can come in our store with no mask on. Okay. See how well that works out for you. And also, shout out to Texas. Dude, I have people in California talking shit on Texas. They like to throw little comments. Texas went 2 months without a COVID death. Remember when, I forgot what his name was. He was a former Democratic governor of Texas, or mayor, Beto, whatever his name is. said that Abbott was signing a death sentence to his citizens by removing the mask. Hey, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. I need a soundboard to be able to transition to different segments rather than just an awkward sip in silence. Something we're working on here. Okay, we got some things in the works. I'm looking at it right now, but it's just not ready to go yet. All right? Relax. Bitcoin crashed today. Listen, you know what Bitcoin is? I don't know if I've said this before. Bitcoin is like multi-level marketing for men. It's true. Guys just love going up to their guy friends and just being like, hey, do you like money? Would you like to make more of it? Would you like to take your real money and buy monopoly money, fake internet money with that money, and in 2 years, you're a billionaire? Then buy Bitcoin. Sounds pretty cool, right? Dude, there was back in 2018, I think, when the first big crash, when it got like very publicized, happened. There was people who killed themselves because they lost everything investing in Bitcoin. How insane is that? You just invested everything into this and it just tanked completely. And that's crazy is if they would have just held, they would have been 3x'd on their money from that point, from when it crashed. If you bought at the high, that high is still higher than what the low is now. You just got to hold it, baby. You got to know when to hold it, know when to fold it. What feels amazing, listen, finally joined a gym out here, a regular gym that had a sauna. Listen, speaking of mental health, going into the sauna for 30, 40 minutes, beautiful. It helps detoxify so much. And there's something I realize, getting off my phone, getting away from technology for 30 or 40 minutes is the best thing I can do for creativity. The best thing I can do for my mind to put shit back into perspective of what I want and what I'm doing. Because it just makes you stop and actually think. I'm one of those people that just have such a busy mind where I just go. And I don't really stop and think too much because I'm just working. Oh, I got to do this. I got to do that. And then it's like I'm rushing through a process to get to the next thing. But by going in the sauna and being forced to sit there and just kind of stretch and sweat, it just makes me like everything kind of comes back to baseline around like minute 20, minute 25. And then from there on, I'm just fucking firing with all cylinders, just thinking of jokes, thinking of bits. But it's also great for anxiety. And that's one thing I feel like people have a lot of right now. And I think that's the biggest thing. If I'm actually going to wrap a bow on this so I don't just come off as like cynical, is that's been the biggest thing that I haven't liked about how much the news has lied, how much everything's been over dramatized. You know, when like during the pandemic, they'd be like a kid who was perfectly healthy, 14 years old. And then, you know, I would do research because I'd be like, okay, is this real? Let me look it up. And you would find out the kid was obese. He had heart disease. He had like heart failure before and all this stuff. And then you're just like, you're being dishonest, because what that does is it puts fear in people. That's why I don't like anything that the news does that causes division, because yeah, it has political, power where it can actually sway a vote or something. But when you put division in someone and you trick them and you manipulate them, they still have that hate in them. They still have that fear. Okay. When you start looking at, you spin a news thing to make it seem like the world is falling apart and everything. As I introed this podcast, how everything's falling apart. Hey, I'm part of the problem. Is what it is I don't like seeing people walk around with fear. I don't like seeing people who are so scared that they're wearing a mask while they're driving in the car, that they're literally terrified to go out anywhere. Listen, I couldn't catch COVID here if I tried. I've been here for a couple months almost. If you only knew how unmasked I have been, okay? I'm basically letting people spit in my mouth and I ain't catching it. It makes it sound like COVID is a fucking alien invasion. All right. And that's just what I haven't liked, is just like, be real with people. I think in the next few years, we have to figure out something with holding articles and news accountable. And it's like, in journalism, it needs to actually be journalism, and there needs to be like repercussions for it, from the way that people get canceled. News stories are twisted and manipulated to paint a certain perspective. There has to be some kind of repercussions so people can't spin things. They can't do these crazy opinion pieces where at the end they are like, hey, this was just an opinion and this isn't necessarily what happened. Or what they do a lot of times, these articles that put completely false information, they'll add an update on the bottom of new information that was given. But everybody, it's already been seen by 20,000 people. And the damage is already done. No one goes back like a week later and like, hey, I just want to go check if that article updated at all. No one fucking does that. We're busy with our lives. But I hope you guys are doing good. Listen, I know this was a serious podcast. I try not to have too many of them. Sometimes something gets me going and I just gotta talk it out. And I'd rather talk to you guys about it, because I get great feedback. People, I have people, and I don't have a problem with anybody who tells me, who argues with me or has the opposite opinion of me. I welcome any information. I could completely change my mind on vaccinations if someone came to me with information that made perfect sense. I just haven't seen it yet. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want you to know that. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Remember that I love you, even if you don't love me. Okay? I got love for you. And I'll see you fucking Monday. Be good, you fuck nuggets.